Certainly, Nelson Mandela's life was filled with wisdom, and he shared many inspirational quotes over the years. Here are 50 Nelson Mandela quotes. 1. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. 2. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. 3. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. 4. To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. 5. There is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. 6. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. 7. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. 8. It always seems impossible until it's done. 9. I dream of an Africa which is in peace with itself. 10. I stand here before you not as a prophet but as a humble servant of you, the people. 11. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. 12. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. 13. I was not a messiah, but an ordinary man who had become a leader because of extraordinary circumstances. 14. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. 15. Real leaders must be ready to sacrifice all for the freedom of their people. 16. Money won't create success, the freedom to make it will. 17. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. 18. I am fundamentally an optimist. Whether that comes from nature or nurture, I cannot say. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward. 19. There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. 20. The power of imagination created the illusion that my vision went much farther than the naked eye could actually see. 21. We can change the world and make it a better place. It is in your hands to make a difference. 22. Let there be justice for all. Let there be peace for all. Let there be work, bread, water, and salt for all. 23. After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. 24. In my country, we go to prison first and then become president. 25. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. 26. Do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. 27. A human compassion binds us one to the other, not in pity or patronizingly, but as human beings who have learned how to turn our common suffering into hope for the future. 28. I like friends who have independent minds because they tend to make you see problems from all angles. 29. Lead from the back, and let others believe they are in front. 30. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. 31. I am not a saint, unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying. 32. There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you yourself have altered. 33. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. 34. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. 35. A good leader can engage in a debate frankly and thoroughly, knowing that at the end, he and the other side must be closer, and thus emerge stronger. You don't have that idea when you are arrogant, superficial, and uninformed. 36. We must use time wisely and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. 37. To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. 38. There is nothing I fear more than waking up without a program that will help me bring a little happiness to those with no resources, those who are poor, illiterate, and ridden with terminal disease. 39. A good leader can engage in a debate frankly and thoroughly, knowing that at the end, he and the other side must be closer, and thus emerge stronger. You don't have that idea when you are arrogant, superficial, and uninformed. 40. I dream of the realization of the unity of Africa, whereby its leaders combine in their efforts to solve the problems of this continent. I dream of our vast deserts, of our forests, of all our great wildernesses. 41. It is better to lead from behind and to put others in front, especially when you celebrate victory when nice things occur. You take the front line when there is danger. Then people will appreciate your leadership. 42. I was made, by the law, a criminal, not because of what I had done, but because of what I stood for, because of what I thought, because of my conscience. 43. Overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity. It is an act of justice. It is the protection of a fundamental human right, the right to dignity and a decent life. 44. I stand here before you not as a prophet but as a humble servant of you, the people. Your tireless and heroic sacrifices have made it possible for me to be here today. Therefore, place the remaining years of my life in your hands. 45. A critical, independent and investigative press is the lifeblood of any democracy. The press must be free from state interference. It must have the economic strength to stand up to the blandishments of government officials. It must have sufficient independence from vested interests to be bold and inquiring without fear or favor. It must enjoy the protection of the Constitution, so that it can protect our rights as citizens. 46. It is not where you start but how high you aim that matters for success. 47. I am fundamentally an optimist. Whether that comes from nature or nurture, I cannot say. Part of being optimistic is keeping one's head pointed toward the sun, one's feet moving forward. 48. I have retired, but if there's anything that would kill me, it is to wake up in the morning not knowing what to do. 49. In the end, reconciliation is a spiritual process, which requires more than just a legal framework. It has to happen in the hearts and minds of people. 50. I was not a messiah, but an ordinary man who had become a leader because of extraordinary circumstances. These quotes